George, what do you make of the hype around AI? Is it hype? Is it reality? How are you seeing the wheat from the chaff at the moment?
Yeah, Carolyn, I'm glad you asked that question. When you think about what's going on in AI right now, it's very clear that there is a fair amount of hype today. But when we look at this down the line 10 years from now, we'll realize that absolutely incredible things are happening right now as we speak in terms of building this next generation of software. And this is where Insight has been focused for almost 26 years in terms of really helping guide many of the great founders and executives in building great software companies.
Do the guidance for a moment, because yes, you're there with your AI, your ML headset on, and I'm sure you're thinking about companies that have that as their bones to invest in. But when I think of Insight, I'm also thinking of the edtech companies you have, the e-commerce companies that you have, the companies that are being disrupted enormously by artificial intelligence, particularly generative. How much are you having to guide those companies to become AI native in many ways?
In my view, every company has an opportunity to become an AI company. And if you think about the opportunity that exists, particularly within the Insight portfolio, many of those companies have incredible amounts of private data. Well, what is that opportunity when you look at the market for really building AI companies at scale in the future? It turns out it's that private data. And so when we work with many of our portfolio companies, we really help them understand the use of that data, be able to build analytical models, to be able to build generative models at scale, and be able to support the scale of their existing business being an AI-driven one.
It really is going back to that Cathie Wood conversation we had several months ago, Ed, again, about proprietary data and how important it is.
Yeah, I think the thing for me, George, is we had Vinod Khosla on the show a couple of weeks ago, and he made this claim that 90% of the companies that you guys are putting money into as an industry, they're not going to make it. So I wonder what the strategy then is, whether you have to have a much broader portfolio of companies now just to make sure that in a crowded field you find the kind of shining star.
I think when you look at this market today, there are many companies that are going to struggle in their transition to really deliver AI solutions at scale. We at Insight really focus on the businesses that really understand a few things really well. One is the ability to have that private data available to them to be able to build their AI products. Two is to be able to look at user experiences. Three is to be able to have a great workflow that fits into the rest of the way that that software works inside their specific industry. When you find the combination of those 3 or 4 things, you have a very interesting, compelling business. For example, if you look at where Jasper is today as a business, they were able to really build a mech suit for content marketers to be able to drive the scale of which they are able to produce content at a speed that's 10x greater than anything you've seen before. And so that's a great example of a business that can take the combination of the things that I just mentioned and really build an AI-driven business at scale.
George, where does Insight sit on the debate around regulation and guardrails?
At Insight, we're really looking at how the changing regulation is continuing to evolve. We definitely believe that there's a need to positively regulate the industry, particularly as there's tremendous changes that are occurring at a both societal and a corporate level. We at Insight really focus on really helping our founders just achieve the scale in their businesses, and as they think through the opportunities, particularly from an AI standpoint, how can they build very competitive moats over time to be able to scale their businesses accordingly.
And moats that are international in many ways. I'm interested in, when you look at your previous successes, Chegg, interestingly, an education tech company that's now having to grapple with AI disrupting its business model. Alibaba, a Chinese-based company, and actually Vinod Khosla was saying he's more worried at the moment about China growing AI than he is really about whether or not a lot of the ones growing here are wheat or chaff. How do you think about these two ecosystems evolving, where the US can, quote unquote, win the race?
I think we're at a moment here where there is a tremendous advantage for US-based companies. And why is that? Because if you think about what comes out of a AI or generative model, it's the ability to fuel what we think of as reinforcement learning. And that feedback loop from a reinforcement learning standpoint, whether it be machines, humans, or humans and machines driving it together, really improve models over time. When you look at certain totalitarian regimes, it turns out that feedback loop isn't as significant as when you see the impact of really building a business inside a Western democracy. So in our view, we see a slight advantage right now for companies that are building their corporations in the context of a Western democracy, where you can see a lot of that reinforcement learning really be impacting the positive reinforcement of building models at scale.